Speaking of which, like, okay, new topic. I hope we haven't talked about this. Maybe we have before. Is it hard to make friends in 2023? Because I don't know what, like, okay, I live by the algorithm. So I don't know if YouTube Shorts thinks that I don't have many friends. So
it's like you've been watching too many YouTube Shorts. You clearly have no friends.
Yeah, so I've been recommended a lot of shorts recently, just about like this fucking street interviews that that happen, and there's just been like a bunch of shorts I've been recommended about just people talking about. Do you have any real friends, or how many real friends do you have in your life? Right?
Are you okay, guys?
Huh? Are you okay?
I'm okay.
We need to hang out more.
I'm okay. I'm saying I'm okay, but I find it interesting seeing all these YouTube shorts, and I think like Phil and Franco did a like news article recently.
About like how like loneliness is like fucking exploded,
how
right, in the youth.
How like in this day and age more I think I don't know if it's more men or just more people in general are more lonely and single than they're like in like the history of like modern.
I'm
modern
not too sure about those statistics, right? Because it's like I think about that.
wait. I love that.
Okay.
Sorry, the way you worded that was like, my opinion.
Yeah. Facts.
In my opinion, those facts are questionable. Because like
so we're calling this episode "Are We Lonely?"
Yeah, because like I feel like with like the social media and everything, right, and the internet, and we've had this conversation like way early on in a podcast episode about like are online friends considered real friends, right?
Yeah.
And like I feel right, but that's also a point of contexture of like a lot of people who are just like terminally online do see online friends as like real friends because maybe they don't have like actual IRL friends.
I think we should discern what you mean by online friends. Is that someone you've never met, or is it someone?
Well, it could be like someone you talk to every day on like Discord, or like someone you talk to consistently on Twitter or Instagram, or maybe you've met them once IRL, but for the most part you met them online.
I think that changes
through social media.
That changes how you look. I mean, not to get stuck in the details here, but I think if you've met someone and then you talk a bunch online, it makes way more sense because there's like, okay, we've met up, and there's probably that expectation that we'll meet up again. But if you've never met up and you're only talking online, then I think there is a question of like, okay, well,
is that a real friend?
Well, it's this is weird. Yeah, I mean.
Well, because there's a lot of people, even in our personal lives of like, we've only talked to them online, we've interacted with them online, but we've never actually met IRL.
Yeah.
Right. But that doesn't mean that they're any less of a friend than say like us three or anyone you actually meet IRL. Right?
Yeah. Okay. So theory here. So I was kind of memeing when I said no, but kind of like also half not memeing.
Yeah.
Because we're friends, right? We have a lot of friends, right?
Speak for
we're
yourself.
social people, right? But it's like kind of like the vibe I got from all of these TikTok fucking YouTube short like rabbit hole I went through was that a lot of people nowadays have acquaintances. But there's very like the people that you would actually call like your real friends is like kind of like on the decline.
Okay, and so then what is the border between a friend and an acquaintance?
That's okay. That's the real question, right? That's the real question. How many people in your life would you actually consider like a real friend versus someone you hang out with, and where do you draw the distinction in that, right? And for me personally, at least, for me, it's someone that I can feel totally as an introvert, right? It's someone I can feel totally comfortable just being myself, and not fearing being judged or having that little barrier to be like having that little voice to be like, can I say this in front of this person? I don't know, because I don't know them that. I mean,
I don't know where their boundaries are.
I don't know where their boundaries are, so I don't know how far I can push the boundaries. So I can call you guys fucking or whatever, and I'm like, I know you guys can take it.
You have just been downgraded to acquaintance.
sorry, Muridon, you're probably gonna have to fucking beep that out because of YouTube's YouTube's law and everything like that. But some people you're still like feeling the water about where your like boundaries are, and that to me is when I can call someone like a true mate.
Right.
Someone that I can hang out with, not just hang out, but actually talk to them about anything and not have to feel like I have to play a certain, let's say, role like when we hang out.
So is there where
Okay.
because often these surveys and stuff they ask not how many acquaintances, like how many friends do you have, how many close friends do you have?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the barrier, would you say, for you to be friends? And then what would a close friend be?
Okay.
Or do you consider all friends close friends?
I consider all friends close friends.
So
right?
how many friends would you say then you have? Because this is like a common question that you also get asked in these kind of surveys.
Yeah. I would actually say I have quite a lot of friends that I consider myself close with.
Okay.
Stop bragging.
I mean, okay, here's the thing. For example, everyone who I invited to my wedding is at least like, if not like a very, very close friend, someone that I consider very, very comfortable with. And I had
you're in like the 40, 50 plus range.
Yeah, I have like, it's okay. So
He's got the dog in him.
but here's the thing. I feel like really, really lucky, but the reason, okay, so compared to a lot of other YouTubers and a lot of other Twitch streamers that I talk to online in the online space, I actually like I'm actually not too social on my, let's say, professional side. A lot of Twitch streamers are very, very close friends with their fellow streamers or YouTubers or something like that. And I am not someone who spends a lot of time speaking to a lot of other fellow creators unless they're fucking you guys, basically. And I realized part of the reason for that, part of the reason for that is just because I've kind of like, with the friends I have now, with the friends I have back home, abroad, and like the people I feel close to, I'm like at kind of like, not a cap, but it's hard.
I'm friendshiped out.
Yeah.
You gotta line out. You're on the waiting list.
It's hard to keep up with what everyone is doing.
I
do
agree.
you get what I mean?
Sure.
You only have so much time in a day, and if you're a close friend, I actually want to be a close friend to you as well, and that friendship takes effort. You know, it does. It does take effort.
Sure. I also think we have to acknowledge that we're in a very unique position where there are more people who, let's say, want to talk to us than necessarily maybe we want to talk to other people.
Yeah.
Not saying that like fans are friends or anything like that, but you know, there's always people kind of approaching us or we're meeting. So you always kind of like, even if it's work or not, you know, you always meet people. So I think having that stress removed from, you know, we never have to, I have no concern in the world about, am I going to meet enough people? I'm like, okay, I'm going to meet too many people. Now I got to decide how much I'm going to limit it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's important to acknowledge when we discuss this.
Yeah.
In terms of loneliness in general or lack of friendship in general, that's tough. I think male loneliness specifically is higher nowadays, at least if you ask how people feel.
Yeah.
I don't know. Loneliness has to be a feeling, right? I mean, it's not like a, we don't just go around being like, Gone, I've checked out your friend list. You're fucking lonely.
I have diagnosed you with loneliness.
You know, it's like, people say they're lonelier. Now, I don't know what that means. Does that mean they're just unhappier and they feel lonely? Like,
well, but that's the thing, right? It's like it's really hard to.
Also, we are not professionals in this thing. This is just purely.
This is completely our opinion. This is completely our prerogative.
Okay,
but
we also live in a lonely country. So I think
exactly. So like, understand this is completely our prerogative, and you know, many people can take this in many different ways. But like, when I saw like the statistics of like, oh, loneliness has gone up, I'm like, can you like even quantify something that is like pretty subjective? Like, because you know, I'm sure there are people who have 2 friends, but do not say that they're lonely because they're very content with just having a small group of friends. And then there may be some people who have maybe, you know, 10 or 20 friends, but say like, oh, but I don't have 100 friends, so I'm lonely. Right.
Well, I mean, it's loneliness, I guess, is what it's not so much about how many friends you have or whatever that is. It's like, I guess it's just like
the quality of the friendship.
Yeah. Well, it's like if they're asking these people, hey, do you think you're lonely? And they're like, yes. And I guess it doesn't matter how many friends or whatever they have, because you could have 500 friends and feel that you don't have a deep connection with any of them.
Right.
And be lonely, right?
Yeah.
Or be a very popular person, but feel like you can't really connect to any of those people. So I think it's kind of talking about how many friends you have is not so much important. I think a lot of these, when I've read all these stuff, a lot of them tend to be focused on more like how many meaningful friendships do you have?
Yeah.
That's where a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people get their kind of core satisfaction or a lot of the satisfaction in their life from those like 2 to 5 people. Who are like, these are the people you probably turn to the most about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I think that's true for me as well. The more I think about it, I'm like, I often don't want to talk about all of my stuff to everyone. It's like there's probably a few people who I would talk to about certain things more often than not, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like, I don't want to have to give everyone the fucking rundown every single time. You know what I mean? Like you just want someone who gets it. You're like, all right, let's talk, right?
Yeah.
That being said, I think that there's a lot of the coronavirus definitely kicked into high gear loneliness on like a crazy scale. Also, I think people growing up now have also had a harder time. Like, let's say, especially people who are like just leaving high school, who then got thrust into the coronavirus, where they were like, "Oh, you were supposed to go to college,
no, you cannot."
And now it's like, you have to do Zoom, and it's like, okay, well, you missed out on a lot of very important, maybe social learning opportunities. And I think a lot of people also just lost a lot of friends during COVID because you just didn't. Even if they didn't like fall out or anything, it's like you just didn't hang out, and that's like. And I think as we get older, we realize. That maintaining a friendship is probably the hardest part about having friendship. It's not about making friends. It's about, am I seeing this person enough to be on like good terms or to feel like we're actually friends? And I think that was the thing that was affected a lot during the pandemic, and it's kind of snowballed.
And I think that to me is the big thing.
I ranted
I totally get that. That's all good points, because like the reason I say that, I mean, I'm very blessed, I think, with my friendship groups that I found, because one of the big reason is we have hung out a lot in the past. I've moved countries now, so I don't get to talk or hang out with them as often as maybe when I lived in England or when I lived in the same country as them. But there's always that mutual trust between both parties that when we meet up, we can still talk about anything. Nothing's changed, and things can be completely comfortable. And that's the big differentiator for me. When I finally understood what it means to have like a lifetime friend, you know, because everyone has different fucking priorities. Everyone's doing different shit in their lives. You can't always be next to your friend or be hanging out every week.
Everyone's adulting now.
Everyone's adulting, right? And to me, an adult friendship is having that trust and respect for each other, that you can have the same connection, even if you haven't talked to each other for like a few months, even if we haven't seen each other for a year. The moment you hang out, you're like, fuck. It's all the same.
That's definitely for me my distinction between a friend and a good friend. Like a good friend is someone that you can like not text or call or interact with for like months or even years at a time. And then the next time that a text or a call or a meetup is set, it's like nothing has changed. You know, and you can just go right back to where you were in that same mentality of the last time you saw them or the last time you called them, right?
I think we're also very fortunate in our position that we don't have to work a 9 to 5. That makes definitely hanging out with people easier.
I mean, I'd argue we're working longer.
We are working longer, but we're more flexible. That's the thing. We don't have a boss. If a friend has like a wedding, you know, we can be like, I'll come to the wedding in England. That's no problem, right? Whereas maybe another friend couldn't go because they have work obligations. I think maybe we probably do work more in terms of like, if you're just looking at hours spent, we probably
can choose when
we probably work a lot of overtime compared to thing, but it doesn't feel like that because we like our job. It's easy. We fucking a lot of the time it's not tough. But I think that's a very important distinction to make when us three specifically are talking about this kind of topic, because you know, it's being able to be like, fuck it, I'll come drink on a Wednesday. Like that's a thing that we can do, and we can decide if we're capable of doing that. Whereas maybe your other friend is like, I gotta go home. It's 10 p.m. I gotta be up tomorrow at 8. You know, and sometimes we have that, but I think that also plays a part in our flexibility that allows us to kind of maintain friendships more.
I mean, it's funny because, you know, most of the friends I hang out with, you know, that I do consider close, I do normally do like the 9 to 5 schedule. In fact, a big problem has been sometimes when friends have assumed that I have more free time just because my schedule is more flexible.
As well.
But I find that having a flexible schedule as a YouTuber means that I get more time to hang out with other YouTubers. You know, doesn't necessarily. Do you know what I mean?
I know. That ends up happening a lot because you just can't hang out with people a lot of the time who are working 9 to 5s. They're so busy. And it's like YouTubers are the only people who can like, let's go fucking get lunch on a Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like we can do that, and I think that's like a very fortunate thing of our job.